Chess is a game that is 1,400 years old. How come that today it is regarded as an important educational activity used in schools all over Europe? To answer this question, we must ask ourselves what the future will look like and how the schools are preparing children for the challenges ahead. Extremely rapid changes in social conditions, climate changes, artificial intelligence, automation, a new digital era. Scientists predict that the upcoming 20 years will bring more changes in the structure of human society than the previous 300 years have had altogether. This will affect us all, but most importantly, our children. To make them ready for these advancing changes, we need to give them different skills. Scientists talk about the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication skills, collaboration skills, creativity. Schools must find the teaching methods which adapts to the needs of the society and provide children with different mindsets that can be used in the digital era, preparing them for online and real-life experiences. Why chess? To reach the 4 C's, we need to teach our children pro-social behaviour, pattern recognition, problem solving, memory skills, generalization of knowledge. Chess trains all the 4 C's. It is a classical board game that is easy to use in the classroom, but also perfect for the virtual world. Gamification has proven to be a crucial educational method in the modern age because children are simply used to learn by playing. Chess crosses all borders. It encourages children to win with grace and lose with dignity. As one of the fastest growing educational methods in Europe, over 6 million kids play chess at school. And every day, new schools take up this wonderful learning opportunity. European Chess Union. We make Europe smarter.
And we're back. This is round 3 at European Club Cup 2021. The tournament is online and the games already started, so let's quickly get back the chessboards and start to analyze the games. All right, we have this very interesting position here with white pieces, Vladislav Artemiev against Laszlo Horvath. Let's start with the beginning, with the first move. So we have 1d4 and knight f6. And we have a Greenfeld defense. Quite interesting setup here. Bishop g5. This is the move that you cannot see really often. Yeah, I have not seen this move here. I've seen it before trading the knights. So black continued to play a typical move like c5, rook c1 is on the board, and a trade of the pawns on d4. And here we have after castle d4. So white actually got this pawn on d4 and get rid of the terrible pin with rook c1 and played d5 here, and black played f6. So white has now to decide where to bring the bishop. I know it looks a little bit suspicious to play f6 and to trap the bishop here on the dark squares, but on the other hand, white has this king still in the center and whole king sides undeveloped, so it's gonna take a while. I think at least 1, 2, 3 moves, because bishop is also hanging. So white has 3 moves before the castle, and I believe that after bishop leaves g5, there will be very soon move like f5 or move like e5 and then f5. There will be something really dangerous here for white's king. And here we have a check on a5. Is that dangerous after queen d2? Let's see what happens after queen d2. Looks really natural move. Can I move? I can move! Okay, I can move. I don't know what happened in the previous match that I could not really move the pieces. So maybe queen e4 is the queen a4 is the move. Bishop c4 developing. defending this and also defending this move. I like bishop c4, but on the other hand, there is move like b5, and here white has to get back this bishop on d3. This is interesting position indeed after b4. After b4, I would be really afraid. Although why I played this before, there is f6 pawn. I forgot about this pawn. Okay, so b4 is not really a move that white should be afraid. Maybe after it's f5. After f5. Now b4 makes sense because bishop c3 is hanging. White has to push e5. This bishop is not hanging. And we might have this kind of position. Maybe not. So white decided instead of this to go bishop d2, and now the question is what happens if black decides to capture on a2. This is kind of typical sacrifice. I have seen it. I have also sacrificed it with white pieces without my wish, to be honest. I don't like to sacrifice pawns, but okay. It's not dangerous here for white. It's not dangerous because bishop c4, queen is hanging, and then next move is d6 check. So yeah, white will manage to hold the position. I'm not sure about this queen a5 that black just played here. And now queen has to find better square than a2. I believe better square than a2. 2 is not an option because bishop c4 really creates a lot of danger. Let's move to the next game meanwhile, and here we have Marcus Kranger against Karakamsky. And we have actually a lot of pieces on the board still. Queens are off the board, and that's interesting. Which color would you prefer to? I would prefer here with black, to play with black, because I see the knight comes on c5, can also go on e6 and drop on d4. I think that black pieces are more active. And look at this bishop on d3. That's hard to believe that that's a bishop, not a pawn here. So white has also to put some counterplay, maybe push a4, and after b4 get this knight somewhere on e2 maybe, and then to play next move bishop c4 just to activate the pieces. Also, it's very likely that this position is equal because there is not a single weaknesses here in none of the position. Only thing that I don't like here for white is this bishop on d3. So knight c5, f3 was played, and knight h5. Knight wants to jump on f4 or g3. Depends. Like there is no the dark square bishop, and it's time for knight to party. Knight f4 makes sense and it looks really nice. I like this move. Knight f4, increasing the pressure, also doubling the rook on d-file. Knight b3. Okay, so this knight has to move now from c5 square. There's one thing to capture the knight and double the white pawns, or just capture the bishop. I think capture the bishop is that what white wants. After this knight comes on c5, this bishop is weak piece. It's really weak piece. So maybe black has to capture on b3 instead and try to play here some smart moves. Something like rook d6 with idea to double. Bishop goes here, and anyway, double the rooks. Yeah, very likely we're gonna have this this endgame. Maybe all pieces will be trade, and yeah, this is interesting. This is really interesting position. The question is who stands better here. I still believe that black is fine. Black should be fine here. And here we have exactly as we mentioned there. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I'm not far away from the reality, and we have this position on the board. Not too much tension, to be honest, but that's what we expect from top players. And here we have the Zoom call, and let's quickly make it bigger and check out the players. Um, Again, I see Garakamsky here on the screen, and we have his game as well. Um, who else? And I believe the players have two cameras as usually. Uh, yeah, I can recognize some of the players. For example, Etienne Bacro is on the corner. Um, Artemiev is also there. And Kamsky and Shirov. Okay, Shirov is also there. Shirov is also there. Yeah, this is really good to check out the Zoom call. And Naidic, I also see Naidic. I believe arbiters have quite a work to observe the players and the rooms that players are in. Yeah, I remember last time I played online event, I had two cameras. And it's my very big recommendation to charge your phone. If you're using your phone, charge your phone before using it. Okay, let's get back to the games. And in the game of Garakamsky and Markus Kreuger, we have a decent game. They kept the rooks, one rook on the board. Let's actually keep some tension at the board, and I think it's White's decision to keep this rook because rook comes on c3. This pawn might be a target at some point. Yeah, c5 is really an important move because otherwise White will play b4 and then rook comes on c3 and this is gonna be hanging. So c5 we have on the board, and next move we're gonna have knight d4. I love this knight on d4. This is beautiful knight. This is really beautiful knight. On the other hand, white knight is really far from d5 square. b4. Okay, black can capture this one and then jump this knight here, or first maybe just get the control over c square and then jump the knight here. Or black can also push the pawn on c4. So he's thinking he has 2 extra minutes. And he's thinking here. None of the moves were played here. Knight d4 instead. This is of course very interesting because bishop is hanging, and after bishop move, then black can decide where to push this pawn to trade on b4 or to push on c4. So now this bishop is hanging. If rook comes on c3, then in this case c4 makes sense because though all white pieces are so badly placed, then bishop should leave to free the rook to play. And I believe that a5 makes some sense here, to push a5 and then to get this rook active. So we have this position currently at this game, and we can, yeah, just happening like this. We can meanwhile move to the next game and something interesting, and I see this is an interesting game for me. Seems like white started the attack on the king side. We can actually start from the beginning, so it's 1 e4 e5, and we have this position on the board where white got control over this center, and black quickly pushed a5 to decrease the tension. And here we have this position. Oof, I would be really scared here with black. I would be really scared with black. Queen g3, rook bishop h6 was hanging, and after this move, black played c5. It feels like there should be some tactics. There should be some tactics, something connected to maybe capture on d5 and knight f6. Queen is hanging. Bishop is hanging. If pawn captures, that's mate in one. If queen leaves this square, then we can play queen h4, trading mate here. Queen f5 makes no sense because the bishop is hanging, and after taking, we're gonna have the same checkmate. This is interesting, but here, Etienne Bacro says, no, I have my plan and I'm going for b4 here. There will be knight f6. I'm sure there will be knight f6 move here. Later on, sooner, we're going to have knight f6 kind of motif. Now knight c5 is hanging, is it? Knight c5. Yeah, knight c5. What? He played so fast this move. Bishop takes c5. He played really fast. Okay. Maybe I like this more than knight f6. Because we like to get mature. We like to get queen, of course. We like to get this queen. So there is a knight and the rook for the queen. All the pieces on the board. There are some weaknesses in black's position. For example, those pawns are might be under some threat with h pawn. h4, h5, h6 might come. Yeah, white has here really good chances. Right. Yeah, right. We have this position. We can move to the next one. And this is Mikhail Marin and Alexei Shirov. Black has an extra pawn here. Black has an extra pawn. White has, of course, the compensation because these squares are really, really, really weak. But is it enough? Is it enough to draw or to win here? Okay, let's focus on this game. So knight bd7 was played. Here is really interesting position because if black captures here on c4, that's really dangerous because after rook d8, black is losing. Black is losing. And here, this is easiest one. If you want to be a little bit more fancy, you can also capture with a bishop and just straight checkmate here on h6. So knight d7, for those reasons, knight d7 was played, and now the knight is hanging on c4. Knight can jump on d6, knight can jump on a5. I would prefer to play on d6 indeed. Also, target this pawn at some point. Maybe white will play queen f3. We never know that. Knight d6 is the move that I would consider to play. All right, if rook leaves, we can chase the queen, can we? We can chase the queen, why not? Or we can chase the rook. We can chase the rook. And then get this rook here on d6. All in. We're getting all in. Here, here, attacking the knight. Interesting position. Knight on d6, we're gonna see where the rook will go. White has compensation. White has compensation for sure. We can actually take a look from the beginning how we get in this in this position. So it's sort of Catalan and Slav defense mix. Um, Transposed to Meran positions. Aha, that's how the pawn was gone. Okay. Interesting. Alexei Shirov on the board, on the board, and also on the screen. Thinking where to play this rook. There is also an option. I did not consider this earlier. Rook b8 is also an option. Possibility. But clearly there will be no trades here. Queen a4 maybe. Quite tense position, quite tense and really interesting. We have to say this. We have to say this. We have seen a lot of interesting games from Alexei Shirov. But I really believe that he's struggling here in this one. Yep. Also, we have to remember that time is ticking and they have to make a move. They have to make a move quickly. Let's take a look who is, which team Alexei Shirov is playing for. I wish to have a superpower to find players easier than I do now. He represents Spanish flag, right? Okay, I found it. So he's a member of Baden-Baden. That's the 2700 average team and the #1 in this event. So there is high expectations. There is high expectations from him. Rook b8 was played, and Rook c1 is my suggestion here. And we have here on the board Queen a4. Bishop is hanging on a3, and I would like to defend and to attack as well. So that's why I suggested Queen f3 move. We're defending this and we're attacking here as well. Can I capture this? Let's get wild. Let's get wild and capture this. And then this. Hold on, what's happening? Oh, it's... Oh my god, what I'm doing! What I'm doing! The queen is hanging. Sorry for that. I really thought that rook was on e1. Ah, not good. Not good. I thought that rook was on e1. Unfortunately, it's not there. It's very far from my idea. So maybe... Okay, knight is on f7, knight is on f7. I hope he will not play on queen e6, and he has not. He has not in his mind to blunder the queen. But what is his idea here if king captures? Maybe this? Anyway, we got first move. Anyway, we got this knight f7 move. I wish chess was just intuition. I would win a lot of games. Black is still thinking. Black can capture a3 bishop or f7 knight. Those both pieces are hanging. And to be honest, this also makes sense because after rook d7, this rook will be dropped. So after queen a3, I believe that there is move queen e6 here. Really strong move. We all know this mating threat here, knight h6, queen g8, and knight f7 move. Black is thinking, this is not easy. This is not easy. For Alexei Shirov. Actually, he's the one who does this kind of crazy moves on the board. King on f7. Okay, let's see why this knight f7 is a good move and why it's follow up here. Rook c7. It's pretty much logical. Rook d8. Possible. But what happens after check? King goes back. Here we have a capture. Another capture, check. Ooh, tricky. Tricky. Check. This goes back. And I believe that we have to keep the rook on the board. Is this one? Okay, let's see. We're gonna have this position, I think, on the board. White is thinking, this is really interesting. He has enough time to think, but usually you sacrifice this knight and you play faster than Queen f3 is one move to be considered. Another move might be Queen d3. This is also something interesting. And then to capture here, I'm not sure about this though, it's just suggestion. Most logical for me is Queen f3. Yeah, here we have Queen f3. King g8, just get out of this pin. Really interesting position. They both have limited time and anything might happen, but clearly I would prefer here to play with white. Not dramatic sacrifices of queen, of course, but down to 50 seconds. Alexei Shirov is thinking where to move the king, or bishop f6 is also an option. Bishop f6. But this is really suspicious for me. After bishop b2. More pin. "20 seconds on the board. He cannot see what we see." King j2. We're gonna see that. So rook d7 is my suggestion. Is there something better than this? There's bishop e7. Maybe he was afraid of this move. Bishop e7, attacking this rook. Can I go wild? 95? Okay, 95 I think is a really good move and actually winning the game. Yeah, I think now black is winning. So white went to this variation which I suggested earlier and captured the rook on a8. But the difference is that he captured from d1 rook, not from c7. This actually makes big difference because now rook is already on c open file. So check here, and if rook goes back as in our variations, we have already rook here on c8. That's why he was thinking. That's why he was thinking. So after this check, king does not have any legal square. Maybe here. here, 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 and oof, that's dangerous. That's so dangerous. And that is dangerous. Yeah, probably capture and queen a8. Yeah, king should come here to avoid queen b7. There should be something. This is a position when you say like there should be something. There should be something. Okay, back to the actual position. We have this position still here, and instead of queen f3 line, he just goes trade. He just trades the rooks and plays bishop c5. Position is still better here for white because of the pawn structure of black and the king, but I don't know if it's enough to win. Yeah, this is interesting. They're still playing, but they're playing a little bit faster. So we have some checks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. White cannot capture this pawn because the bishop is hanging. The bishop has to come back, and now we have time to defend the pawn. And for checks, king will go back and forward. So far, black is not losing. I think he survived here. Okay, we can actually go to the other game, and this is very typical rook end game. Really nice example here. Black to move, and seems like, yeah, this is exactly how white should defend. Get the rook on the third rank, cut the king, and when the opponent pushes the pawn, then go back and start to check. Is this Jaltman who is playing this game? And he knows how to do it. That's really good start. So now the point is that when king gets closer to white's king, you are just starting to check, and there's no way, no place for a black king to hide. And if you get closer to the rook, that's no problem because we're going to attack the pawn afterwards. Yeah. This is very typical endgame, rook endgame, that I believe that most of the chess players know. And of course the pawn endgame is draw because pawn is too pushed. In case if black's king in front of the pawn, that's winning, and also has an opposition, but this one is draw. And here we have a draw. All right, we can move to the next position. Another end game here, rook end game, but in this case, white has two extra pawns on both sides, queen side and also on the king side. That's edge. And also look at this king. This king is a monster. This king is a monster. White has here really big advantage. All right, let me check something interesting. This is an interesting position. It is white to move, the pawn is under attack, and king is almost mated. Like if I were black here, I would not capture this pawn. Okay, I would capture this pawn, but with this rook after king g4, h5, and king g5 and f6 was a checkmate. So white had to play g4 just to free the space for the rook, and knight e95. What does it mean? Okay, he wants to play this and this after. That's a checkmate, or 92. Okay, Okay, this knight c3 is really, really strong. I would play rook b7. For example, if rook b7 here, knight c3, targeting this rook, and when rook goes somewhere, we have knight e4 or knight e2. Checkmate. So here I believe that that's the move that white should play. f5, push it. King g5 and checkmate. After f5, white has to... What? It happened so? Oh no, it happened so. It happened so. I wanted to say that after f5, this is the only move to play here. And then king g5. Still to keep playing. There's not checkmate yet. I don't see any checkmate. But okay, the game ended in that position. All right, let's move to the next one. So again, we have this imbalanced position when there is a queen and rook and bishop. But this is winning for white because next move is checkmate on g7, and here we have it. Here we have it. We'll try to find something interesting. For example, this one is really interesting position. We have endgame here, and we have d2 pawn and c7 pawn. They're both willing to be queens. Who will be the first? Who will be the first? The problem is that white want to push e6 and then promote the pawn, and can black really stop this idea? Let me check. Maybe rook c1 here. It's white to move. Okay, e6 then. e6 is the move. Yeah, it was played. White is thinking here to capture it on f5 or not. If white captures, then black captures this one, and it should be winning. It should be winning. King here. It should be winning. Bishop here. Maybe this one and push after this. Yeah, this is winning. This is absolutely winning. This is something really interesting endgame. So knight versus bishop. White king is really active here, and the thing is that after capturing on g5, the game is a draw because black gets the... Oh, not like that. Black gets the opposition with king g7, and that's going to be a draw. So white wants to keep the pieces on the board still, and he tries to give some checks and get the king in the wrong position. But seems like the game ended, so it's very likely that game ended in a draw. It's very likely. Yeah, it ended in a draw. We have another position. Let's check out this one. We have opposite color of bishop, 2 extra pawns for white. But the position is a draw because a king and the bishop controls dark squares, and white cannot access to the 6th and 7th rank. There's no point here to play, I guess, and I believe that draw will be agreed soon. Black can simply play rook, just bishop g7, bishop f8, and ask for a draw. You can offer a draw here. Oh, this game is still in progress. They still have this. They still have this gift. Okay. Draw was offered in some moves. Here, draw was offered, but they still played. A couple more moves. Yeah. It's draw. Indeed, it's draw. Hard to mate here with king and the knight. It's impossible to mate. And on the other hand, if you capture g5 pawn, then king comes on g7 and there's not a problem. I think this is more interesting position. We have rook endgame, and this looks pretty much like theoretical endgame, where king is on the long side. This is long side, and this is short side, and we know that rook should be on the long side to give some checks, and king should be on the short side. So yeah, this is bad placement of the pieces, and the game is probably winning. Yeah, it's winning for sure. Next will be f7, and we're gonna have the bridge. f7 and check on d1, and rook gets on 4th rank, and then we're gonna have bridge. Rook d4. You can play any move here. You can play any move. It's anyway winning. Keep the rook on d file maybe, and next king comes here. Or rook f4. Rook f4 is also winning. Rook e4 is also, everything is winning. King comes here on e8, and next is the queen. There we go. Huh? Okay. Funny move. Funny move. Maybe it was a mouse slip. We don't know that. One of the last games we have on the board, on the screen. So this is again opposite color of bishop, and rooks are also on the board. White has 2 extra pawns. This pawn is really dangerous, and rook is also really dangerous on the 8th rank. But the question is if it's enough to win. Is it enough to win? Let's check this out. There is an idea to push this pawn AB king here and push b5. There is this kind of ideas. Rook d6. Rook cannot take this one. Or maybe he can. Maybe he can. Yeah, maybe he can. Why not? That's fine. But still. Yeah. Complicated. Opposite color of bishops are always complicated, but I believe that that's strong. That's strong. But here black did not capture the rook and just kept the rook on the board. This is also a very nice idea, just to get this active rook, to keep the active rook on the board. Okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if it's draw or not. We're gonna see now. White king is active. White will get this king somewhere. But black can also control this process. For example, with bishop h5. Just play these moves. Bishop h5, exactly. And when king gets on f6, g7, and here you just played king d7 and still bishop h5, bishop g6 is draw. Is this one the last? I think this is the last one for round 3, and we're gonna have one last round for today. Yeah. So this is the last game. I bet that's gonna be a draw. Without any problems here for black. If this pawn is somewhere else, not here, that's gonna be maybe winning position, but this pawn on a3 actually doesn't even count that that's extra, because you can push it. So you have only one extra pawn here on e7, and that's well blocked. We might see a4 pawn. It's some, yeah, maybe here. a4, a3, b6, here. No, wait, this is draw. This is draw. White is trying. White is trying. I hope he will not flag himself. I see actually many players are still at the board. Probably they are supporting their teammates, or just, you know, not leaving the room, observing the games, or maybe even preparing next game. Black offered a draw. Come on, take it. Was not taken, was not taken. Move 113 on the board. The game is draw, but they are still playing. Of course, this is online chess. You can still go and keep it going, but there's no chance to win here. I don't believe that there's any chance to win here. Really interesting chain of white's 5 pieces. It's time to draw some things on the board, because this is not the game that we would like to see. Oh, okay, this is different story. So white decided to push the pawn. White is trying so hard. So after b takes a, now most probably we're gonna see b5 move. It was stopped. Okay. That's interesting. The average team rating is up to 2000, so we have really strong events. That means that all of the teams has players, high rated players. So yeah, finally it's draw. Finally we have a draw. This could end earlier. So now players are having some free time. I think I will also take some break, and next round will start probably at 5:30. And we have beautiful background. As you can see, this is the photo from Monaco. There was a time when we were in Monaco and broadcasting from there, but now we are at the studio. And I invite you to join me for the last round for today. So we're gonna have 4th round today, and we're gonna have rest of the qualifiers tomorrow. So yeah, see you soon. I'll come back at the beginning of the fourth round. we're back. This is the final round of today. This is a day one at European Club Cup 2021, and we already have some leaders. So the first place with 10.5 point is to Ladia Kazan. This is a team from Russia. Then we have also two leaders, the team from Switzerland, La Grande de Roy, and also from team from Hungary. This is hard to pronounce, but I'll try. Haldas Shombatali. They all have 8.5 points, and they are the leaders. For 3 rounds, and we have now round 4. Yes, round 4. So you can see on the board, this is the game Alexei Shirov against Gabor Kavans, and we have very famous opening and setup nowadays. This is London system. We can start actually from the beginning, and let's take a look how to play and how to play against London system as well. So we have Bishop f4 here on move 5, and black goes for castle, e3, and queen c4, queen c2, and c5. All right, this is queen's gambit already, this position, and here this is really sharp. If white goes to long castle, there is possibility to long castle here, and then to push g pawn in the h4 and attack the king. There we go. Long castle. Shirov is playing long castle. That's going to be a really interesting game. So it's really good that we pick this one. Black has a good start. Black has a really strong start, let's say, for the queenside attack. And now I believe that there should be some exchanges in the center. Maybe there we're gonna see a little bit slow development with b6, bishop e7. In that case, I think g4 will be the next move of white. Let's see, if b6, then g4, and trying to sacrifice the pawn on g file and put up some fire. Why not? Why not? Black is thinking here how to continue this position. It's really sharp one, and I would prefer here to play with white pieces, because it's all, as Adrian said earlier, it's always good to attack the king. On the other hand, black can also attack this king here on the queen side with opening the files. Black needs here to open some files, so I think it makes sense to take one of those pawns in the center. Let's see how black will continues. Queen a5, this is also a very typical move here when king is long castled. The idea of this is that at some point the pawn will be hanging, so there will be moves like knight e4 to get rid of this knight, and then e2 pawn will be hanging. Maybe king b1 makes here sense, and it was already on the board. a6 with idea to capture this pawn, and then b5 might be the move, or again just to trade the pawns in the center. If I were here with black, I would play a6 with idea to play b5. There's also a move like knight b6 or d takes c4 first, and after bishop captures here, something like knight b6, bishop goes back, and even open this one. That's okay to open this one as well, and to develop the bishop on d7. Rook will come on c8. Next move, pin this knight, knight d5 from here or from here. Not so bad, not so bad. Let's see if we have knight b6 here, next move, and bishop d7. still thinking. Knight b6. On the board, bishop has to leave this square on d3 or on e2, and then we're gonna see c takes d4 as well. Okay, we can also take a look at other games. I will quickly search some nice setups. The game's just started. We have still openings. This one looks interesting. So it started with 1d4, knight f6, and bishop f4 here, bishop f5. A fast development of those bishops, and here we have Karlsbad structure. 6-6 is the one, I think, that black is considering here. After c6, there's bishop d3, bishop g6 or bishop takes d3, knight d7, castle, castle, and here black has this weakness. That's the weakness. So maybe there will be knight d2, rook c1, knight d5 moves. So yeah, that's a weakness. Bishop should be here on b7 to defense, and there is no bishop for that. So that's why here black decided not to push c pawn, but to play bishop d7. And here I believe there's knight e5 move. Knight e5, why not? Let's get this bishop. If he gives the bishop, we will take it. If he captures, then we're capturing this. There's still check after knight d7. Knight bd7 is really bad because knight jumps on c6 in this position, and then captures e7 bishop, and the king will be in the center. So that's why another knight should come here. And can I capture on d5 here? I think I can. This is hanging, this is hanging. And just capture here. Now this is hanging and this is hanging. Knight e5 is on the board. Yeah, something might go really wrong here for black. Maybe it's time to push c6 anyway. And yeah, we're gonna have this kind of position. This bishop is not the best piece. The knight cannot develop because this is hanging. And for white, it's really simple here to castle. Knight comes here, bishop g3, push f4, bring rook on f3, and h3 at some point. This is really pleasant position for white, indeed. I would like to play this one with white. All right, all right. Oh wow, we have to take a look at this one. We have to take a look at this one. How they managed to get in here. We have started from the first moves, d4, d5, and we have Slav defense. Oof, g4, g5, very aggressive. I like this. I like this one. Knight d4, knight also goes on g5, f5 stops this nested threats on h7. And now h-pawn is coming. Hold on, what was that? It was a pawn. Pawn is okay. Pawn is okay. Bishop f6. Okay, if black captures this pawn, that will slow down a little bit white's aggression here. Knight goes on d5 and h5. Bishop takes h6. Uh-oh. Oh, that's gonna be really tricky here. Where to go? There will be this move next, and there's a hole here on f7. So black decided to keep the knight on h5. This is actually a smart decision to keep the knight here, stop the h-pawn. And and you know, just to play here. Sharp position. Can I capture now this this pawn? I think I can capture. Knight e5, bishop takes e5, bishop takes h5, intermediate capture here should be okay for white. Yeah, really dramatic events here for for both sides, and complicated position. Let's take a look at this position here. We have Radoslav Wojtaszek against Admiral Miguel. Those two bishops are really strong, really strong. I would be afraid of those bishops. On the other hand, white also started some attack on the queen side and opened the a file. Can I capture this? Pawn takes, check, king goes here, and something strong and smart. This and this. Not enough. Not enough. We're not ready to sacrifice this. How about this move? King comes here, and this move. Probably pawn pushes here. Yeah, this is really interesting position. Let's keep the eye on this one for a while. White is thinking. There's also more like active option to play queen here, and after this to bring another rook, and I don't know, just wait here. Just wait for your opponent to checkmate you. This is not an option. This is not an option. Yeah. Seems like Radoslav Wojtaszek knows what he is doing. This is interesting. This is interesting position. So we have so complicated, and I think we have to see it from the beginning. E4, E6. We have French defense. F6, early F6 to demolish the center of white. Let's see how it continued. And D4. I like these moves. Oh, C3. Beautiful. Wait, I can't capture it? I cannot capture here because bishop takes on D4. Wait, what? Check and knight D5. Beautiful. Wow, this is really nice. This is really nice game. I think Adrian and his team has to take a look at this one. For Brilliance prize, which is 500 euros, and there are prizes. Let me say prizes actually. So for the winners, there's 4,000 euros. For second place, it's 3,000 euros, and for third place, there's 2,000 euros. There's also prizes for fourth and fifth place, and special prizes for the boards, 400 euro. For the players who will get the medals on the boards. There will be 5 boards. And there is also some certificates and e-medals. E-medals is actually a medal, actual medal. So they will get their medals later on soon. They will have it. h5 was played. The last one. Okay, I can capture this. And now capture here. This is hanging. This is hanging. At the same time, if you go rook here, the idea is to take... Oh, wait. This maybe? And here. No, that's risky. Now everything is hanging. And also this is hanging. So that's risky. Rook c8 and queen moves somewhere. Queen moves somewhere, nice place. Here. White should be totally fine. After all. White is totally fine. The next game that we can see and looks really interesting is this one. The question is how those pawns were traded. Let's take a look from the beginning. 1d4 and bishop f4. I see that's really a popular setup to start with bishop on f4. This looks like London system. g4. G5. That's how they got traded. Black survived here? What? Huh. This is interesting. The rook is here perfectly placed. Rook is just perfect here. I would not play castle for sure. Let's see how it continued. So we have 94, and this is the position that we have right now. Yeah. So if knight captures on e4, that queen has to capture and get rid of this pin. Yeah, very interesting position. If black plays some of like 95 to pin this bishop, then can be check, check, and b3 just to defense, and yeah, this king will be exposed. Maybe it's not worth to do it. Maybe just trade the pieces and play calm game is an option. So we have this 94 on the board. Queen e4 is the move that I expect to play it. Takes and knight can take. In that case, also b2 pawn will be defended. Knight will jump on d6 at some point. Yeah, might happen. Okay, I'm searching for the next position. The one which is more exciting, maybe. For example, this one. It is white to move, plays f4 here. White had to play something really aggressive, otherwise rook h8 is coming and there will be checkmate here on h2 or h1, and it was actually played f4. Okay, can I push g3? Can I do that? If captures, check here, here, here. Takes, and here. Yep, king will run away. Let's not be so dramatic. Let's play the knight somewhere else. Knight d3 is a move. If rook takes, we can give intermediate check and take this one. If queen takes on e1, okay, knight e1 actually threats mate here, so if queen takes here, there will be very unpleasant check, White has to capture this, and black is winning a queen, and then rook will be captured. So in this case, if rook takes on e1, then anyway we have rook here on h8. We just checkmated an opponent. Not so bad advice, right? Black is still thinking, and I suggested knight d3. If queen takes d3, we can now push g3, shall we? If takes, then here and in these positions we can capture, and it's winning. There is knight f3 move, and in this case we can capture the rook. Queen will take and just take this pawn. Yeah, this knight will be hanging in the end of the day. So white has to capture and has to play queen here. And here we have on the board, is this Sasikirian here? I think that's him. Let me check who he's playing for. He is playing for Novibor. This is a team rated number 2 in this event. Grandmaster from India. His rating is 2647. Wow. Actually, that's quite different to play online chess and over the board chess. I think in online chess people are more emotional. Like, for example, he will not do these postures if he's playing in front of his opponent, right? I also do something like I will not do in front of my opponent, and I am more emotional when I'm playing. This is quite normal. And when you have a opponent in front of you, you want to hide the emotions and you know, you're more reserved. Oh, so they can see also. Like, let's take a look at his screen. He has a chessboard, and then on the side he has also the Zoom call of the players. So you can also check the players. Wow, nice. Nice one. He's nervous. He's nervous. We can check out his game. If I find his game, I will just go there because he looked really nervous. Anatoly Petkidis against Luke McShane. The bishop is hanging on e3 and bishop is hanging on d6, and now it's more important to know who is to move. It is white to move. Final move was knight f5 here. e5, knight f5, and king comes on f2. What's happening is this bishop, yeah, this bishop will be gone soon. But the good thing is that that bishop is an extra. So let's take a look at some very simple variation which might happen. King takes, and king e7. Captures, 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 and probably pawn takes. Or king takes. I think pawn takes to avoid knight to jump to c5 and king to come on e5. And this position is extra pawn for white. After knight d4, I think white has really good position. seconds on the clock for black. White has 3 minutes, more than 3 minutes, so it's quite comfortable here for white. I think there was some combination. Let's check out from this point. Knight takes c6. Okay, I can't take it. I can. Then queen takes check. Aha, bishop d6. Okay. Now we know how we got in there. Another interesting position is this one. Oh, look at these pieces. That was not black who played it. It was like mandatory to play that moves there. Knight f3. So knights versus bishops. Quite active rook here on d7. Another rook might also join that one. Rook a7 is the move that I would play probably. Although this bishop, the pawn is well defended, it's still good to increase some pressure. Black to move. Bishop on e6 probably. Bishop here. Next move can be g5 maybe. Or just simple rook c8. Okay, can somebody tell me how this rook got here on f5? How is that possible? You have to take a look this at the from the middle game. Okay, which rook was it? From b1 probably? Yeah, all right. There we go. Rook h5. And f5. That's how rook got on h5. It is white to move. Queen comes on c2 and pins the pawn. Queen is hanging over here. If knight comes on b4, in that case we can play queen b1. Still, there is a tension on this file. Okay, this is actually, oh, this is what we have on the board. This is what we have on the board. It just happened here, and now it's black to move. 16 seconds on the clock. Rook f6 looks really nice one. The defenses the queen on g6. Also aims to double rooks on f file. Why not? This file will be open soon. Tens. We have tens on the board. All right, let's get the next one. Here we have the position when the rook got on 8th rank. And the king is really weak here. King was probably really weak and it survived. And the current position is that it's equal, but of course white stands here better because there is so hard to develop this and these pieces. F5 was played, aiming to close the position, but oh wow, look at this activization. This bishop will be a monster. Dark square bishop is a monster already. Next move will be bishop e3. The bishop is hanging here, and queen g3 is also a threat. Also possible to actually white to play this one, but to play g3 and bishop h4. Wrong click. Let me get back to position. So this is the position we have right now. Black is thinking less than 1 minute on the clock. Not easy. Not easy position. There's also some funny ideas like bishop f6, targeting this pawn, and when pawn takes, just to take it with the pawn, there is a threat of queen g7 checkmate, and also the bishop is hanging. Oh, this is fancy move. This move is really fancy. No, come on, play bishop f6. Play bishop f6. He could ride? Yeah, he could play. Well, we're gonna have resignation soon here because that's an extra piece. No chance, I guess. No chance to survive. And the e-pawn is gone. Next will be f-pawn, and there's an extra bishop on the board. Yeah, he's just using last chances, last moves before resignation. Let's take a look at this game. This looks interesting. It is black to move. There is a pin here. There is not a check, right? It's not a check here. So white is winning. White is winning. Well, white is winning this rook and game as well. Yep. Seems like there was some combination. Let's check out. Okay, white was attacking, and this is very logical to have something like this. Yeah, this looks very much logical. And the next game is almost checkmate here. Wow, this is interesting position. So there's a checkmate on g1, and it's just happened. It was a blunder. No, 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 no. Check, and queen h4 was a blunder. Rook could come on a1 to avoid some things on first rank. Why not? Instead, he went for queen h4 and blundered this checkmate. Happens. Happens. We're not surprised. Another game here, queen and knight versus bishop and queen. Which one is better? I think knight and queen is better now. For example, there can be some move like queen g4, knight f6. Or knight f6, starting with knight f6. Starting with knight f6 makes more sense. Because you can also, after this, you can also get queen on b1, h7. Oh. Oh, that's so cute. I got here at the right moment. Yeah, draw happened here, draw. So we had We had just repetition. Queen e3 was played, and we have repetition in this move, in this game. Most of the games has already finished. We still have some of them running. Looking for something tempting. Rook endgame. There we go. So what has this pass pawn here? And also a possibility to get this pawn. So king b4, rook b3 is a threat. And of course, pawn endgame is winning, and rook endgame is also winning. Then after this manner, king comes back on b5 and captures this pawn, and the king is so far away from everything that is going to be losing here for black. You can see Artemiev on the screen, one of the best chess players from Russia, and really strong blitz player. We have seen some of his victories at the major tournaments. This is not his position. This is not his position. This is Oliver Mihok against Pavel Elyanov. Right. No one wishes here to play with white, I guess, because these pawns and bishops are so hard to be stopped. What happens to Artemiev? What happened to Artemiev? Let's check out. Let me find it quickly if he's still playing. Is he? Don't finish yet. Wait. I can't see. We have tons of the games in our base. Hard to find one. Okay, we have it. We have it. So he was not happy of his last move. Let's quickly get in there with white pieces. So the point is that when white gets here for f4 pawn, then king will just, get in front of the pawn, and that's going to be a draw. Maybe he missed some chances. Maybe he missed winning chances here. He's trying to cut the king from getting on the short side. We know that the board is divided from f pawn to long side and the short side, and according to the theory, we need the king to be on the short side and rook to be on the long side to give some checks. King f6 now. Or king f7 would make draw. Yeah, rook is at the right place. Rook should be on the 6th rank just to cut the king, and If white pushes the pawn on f6, then rook will get back here and will start to check white. Rook a6. Yeah, f6 and rook b1. There will be no problem for that. We have this kind of position for a second time already, so it's good to know this kind of theoretical end games. I have seen a very important game for my team where defender side lost the game, unfortunately. All right, we don't have much games. I see only some of them still progressing. For example, this rook game, which is winning for white because king is cut it, and there is very easy to promote this. Oh, wait, what I'm doing? Wait. Rook f5 here, just cover the pawn, and then promote the queen. And what is happening here? Again, this position with queen versus rook and the piece. Those are active pieces. Those are active pieces. Is it winning for white? Look at this king getting so active. But it's not a good idea to keep the king and pieces far away from each other. Queen f4. Okay, king 2. Yeah, okay, that saves. That is a save. Rook d4 here. Black is staying strong and active here. This is the final game, so let's focus in this game. So this is between Emir Doruk and Igor Babi. The final game of round 4 and day 1 at European Club Cup. I think that's going to be a draw here. White cannot win this. There is an idea to capture one of the piece with the queen and then get another piece and then to get this pawn, but I doubt that. The king, black king is really active. Some checks. There might be some study or puzzle type of position here when you can like sacrifice a rook and get the queen and win the position. Yeah, white has to face the fact that that's the draw and it's not enough to win. Also, for like, if you ask like why black is not risking to go for h2 pawn and win, is impossible because this knight is stuck to defense this pawn, and in that case, if king goes closer to the h2 pawn, then this rook will be unprotected, and we don't want to leave those pieces unprotected, right? King d1. Move 113. They're playing this position for long already. Let me check when they played with the pawn for the last time. There was a while ago. b5 here. Rook takes. There would be there is a draw. There's a draw. Okay. because of the repetition. There's a draw because of the repetition. This was the final game of today's round. And probably we already have a couple of leaders of the event, but that's not very important. The most important is to qualify to the next stage. Tomorrow we're gonna have day 2 at qualification phase, and then we're gonna have playoffs. I'm sure there's gonna be more exciting to see playoffs, and then the final. The finals will be at 32-31. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys will join me tomorrow at 12:30 Central European Time, and I will be here. I hope there will be some guests joining me, and see you tomorrow.